On a long enough time scale, the survivability of any player character drops to 0. That is, unless you have plot armor, you coward! How that character dies, though, is up in the air. Will it be badass, tragic, funny? A lot of the time, it's just kinda dumb, man. So, today, ladies and gentlemen, everyone and anyone in between, you're telling us those dumbass shit ways that your character kicked the bucket. Leave yours down in the comments below. I DM a high difficulty campaign. In Session 3, they found a very powerful magic crystal that was providing power for an entire town. This crystal was located at the top of a tower, and a single staircase spiraled up the inside of the tower to the top. The wizard and bard distracted the guards at the bottom of the tower, while the dear old rogue snuck past to the top. In his attempts to steal said crystal, he soon found it was the soul of a very angry dragon that was trapped inside the crystal that was providing all of the magical power. Here's a lesson for you. Never provoke an angry dragon soul. He pissed off this dragon to the point of the dragon deciding he'd rather destroy his own crystal than listen to the rogue anymore. So, the crystal began shaking violently and shining brighter and brighter. Correctly assuming the crystal was about to explode, the rogue decides his best course of action is to huck the thing down the stairs. You know, towards his friends. Around the same time, the bard and wizard had managed to incapacitate the guards and had started up the spiral staircase to the top. They hear a sound like something bouncing down the stairs towards them, and they see a crystal shining brighter than the sun falling down the stairs. It detonates in a tremendous explosion, completely destroying the middle section of the tower, causing what's left of the top to collapse. Of course, being a rogue, he has uncanny dodge. He succeeds on his dex save when jumping out of the tower to the ground below, taking no damage while his two companions were killed instantly in the explosion. And that is how the first two character deaths in my high difficulty campaign weren't even my fault. Now it's one of our favorite stories, and we all get a good laugh every time it comes up. Moral of the story? Don't screw with angry dragon souls, and more importantly, don't throw an active magical dragon soul grenade at your friends! I was in an evil campaign playing a cleric of Vecna. I was completing a ritual to summon my Dreadlord. The party rogue threw the arm of one of my sacrifices at me. I took 1 damage, lost concentration, and the scroll I was reading exploded, killing me, the rogue, and all my followers. Thanks, rogue! My Minotaur Death Domain cleric of Vecna was swimming ahead in an underwater tunnel to confront a character that was name-dropped, who had been bothering villagers. Well, this character was hard-headed and didn't want to ask any more information and just wanted to get the situation handled right away, so he proceeded forward. The human wizard decided to follow as well, and the other 2 players were absent and ended up dropping out of the campaign after the session anyways. Long story short, the human wizard followed me about 10 minutes later after learning the character in question was a green dragon, and I didn't want to metagame and have my character swim back to his friend. My Minotaur confronted said dragon alone, having cast water breathing on himself, whereas the wizard did not and drowned in the tunnel. And I tried going back to give the wizard some of my air, but was ruled against it. So, the wizard was dead. I proceeded towards the dragon, knowing it was a dragon as a player, but not as my character, and ended up getting wiped out in a single hit from a breath weapon, and then just swallowed by the dragon. I had fun. Old first edition game. My cleric and his group managed to survive an impossible encounter in the wilds, pitting their group of 6 against a warband of 14 homebrewed lizard folk and coming out relatively unscathed. He was then bitten by a garden variety jungle snake and died of poisoning on his way back to the village to recover. During Storm King's Thunder, in one particular invasion with 2 fire giants stomping their way into town, my divination wizard tried to burn his ace immediately and use one of his portents to force the giant to fail its saving throw on a suggestion spell. Which, in theory, would have been amazing until the DM described what happened next. You watch as the giant looks briefly confused before picking you up and hurling you through a nearby building. It doesn't understand common. And the language barrier screwed you. Now, it's not one of my characters, but it was too good not to mention. A ranger in my group was told of a nearby grove that was revered by nature lovers and worshippers of his deity. The NPC casually mentions that sometimes people don't come back from pilgrimages in the woods. Everyone else in the party is skeptical and asks if they believe people are being killed in the woods, to which the NPC responds, we never found any bodies, so Warning signs go off non-stop in my head, being an analytical wizard knowledge cleric. Okay, so the time to bed down for the night comes in this settlement, and two of us chill out in the mid-range inn towards the center of town. One goes for the high-dollar suite and the lodgings at the center of town. Our glorious ranger friend, however, decides it's an excellent opportunity to go camping in the aforementioned grove. Alone. At night. With his closest allies being a mile away and not knowing his plan to do so. Now let's just fast forward to his attempt, quote-unquote, to rest. The DM describes a vision of his deity striding slowly through the woods towards him and asks him several times, "What are you doing?" "He's picking up speed. What are you doing?" To which our friend responds, "Meditating. Waiting." He's now on top of him and drops his form, revealing an Oni. Level 5 solo ranger did not stand much chance. We were in a Gamma World campaign. I had joined late and ended up taking over an abandoned character instead of creating my own. After playing him a while, I kind of made the mistake of mentioning to the DM that I would like to create a new character. Shortly after that, we're exploring an ancient ruin full of advanced tech. A very friendly service robot that had been inhabiting the place for a couple of centuries offers to upgrade us with cybernetic enhancements. Well, I thought, sure, why not? So I go for the increased natural armor enhancement to boost my AC. He gets me in the operating chair, and the DM gets very descriptive about how everything works, enthusiastically role-playing the robot's mannerisms as he jauntily punches all the buttons on the panel. At this point, a sort of gel comes out and surrounds me. While the robot is turning knobs, lasers come on and begin cutting through my character's skin, presumably to insert whatever technological miracle is going to make me tougher. But no, the robot's friendly attitude notwithstanding, he has actually gone quite mad while living in this place and turned homicidal. The lasers slice and dice until I'm cut to ribbons. He then shuts down the machine, the gel recedes, and I spill out onto the floor like a very large can of diced tomatoes. It was so hilarious that I wasn't even mad, and I got up to roll that new character much sooner than expected. Heck of a way to close out one, though. No one died in this encounter, but we all came pretty darn close. So we were pretty low level and we came upon this red dragon. Combat is basically unavoidable and we're getting wrecked. The dragon swallows our ranger whole and carries our rogue way up into the sky to drop him and kill him. Me, a druid, a fighter, and an unconscious wizard are on the ground, watching the dragon rise higher and higher with two of our players. The ranger, still conscious and unaware that the dragon has flown so high, bursts out of the dragon's mouth. Before he falls away, he manages to wrap his spiked chain around the dragon's neck to hold on. The dragon, now being choked by said chain, drops our rogue and begins slowly struggling and falling as it loses air. Fighter is just screaming and hoping for the best at this point. Little old third-level druid me is watching this and thinking, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, because I have no spells that can help with this situation. That is, unless I propose something so crazy that absolutely no logical interpretation of the rules would let me do it. But something that, if it works, might just save our puny little lives. Roll a d20. I roll once and fail. My turn comes again and I don't have that much time left. Nat 20. I cast Entangle on the dragon. The vines shoot out of the earth hundreds of feet into the air, catch both of my players safely, and break the flippin' red dragon's neck. My character collapses, totally unconscious from the effort of casting this spell. As you can tell, that particular DM didn't put much stock in the rules. One of our players once screamed, "Space Pirates!" And of course, because we got a nat 20, Space Pirates came down and blasted our enemy. It was the funnest campaign I have ever played by far. It sounds it. Excessive cheese consumption. People in this thread asked him to elaborate. He refused. That's why God blessed him with lactose intolerance. As a DM, but this is my favorite idiot moment. Players survived through war after war, crowning a queen, defeating an adult dragon to free a people, cutting down a horde of demons, and finally, holding the capital of the human lands from an army of dark dwarves. The army numbered 100,000, the players had 500 men left in the city. The battle was hopeless, so they had a spell that grew with every kill it got, and managed to kill enough that it wiped out the entire city while they hid in a pocket dimension one of them created with a spell that I forget what it was. Now, after becoming heroes, the king of the gods summoned them before him. They had managed to slay the son of a god who was now very angry. He wanted justice and complained to the king of the gods. Well, the king of the gods gave them an option. After being locked in a room, they were told to either step out with a black rock and choose the god they wished to challenge, bring out a white rock and accept the king of the gods as their chosen god and serve him and him alone, or stay in the room and vanish from existence to be reborn. Idiot player says, what would happen if I walked out with both rocks? You shouldn't. The king of the gods is typically a very direct and non-bullshit god. I'm gonna walk out with both rocks in each hand. The king of gods decided to wipe his existence from the world, and Thanos snapped him in a very detailed and painful way. Why did he do that? His entire party, at this point, just glared at him for his stupidity. I died when some elderly man mistook me for cheese and turned me into one. There's nothing at all indicating that this is related to the other cheese post, but we here at MrRipper would like to believe that it is. I don't know you! You become Gouda! But my name is Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know down in the comments below. What's your dumb way that you've died? We love you all. See you next time. Bye for now.